Today we have a rape crisis regional meeting which we host because Sericc is the East Regional reps for rape crisis centres in the East region, and it's an exciting day today because we, for the first time ever in the UK, have a development worker starting that's been funded by the Home Office and sponsored by the Government Office East rep.
And so what are the key outcomes of what you're hoping to get out of today, so to speak?
What we're hoping is that she will be able to support the development and the capacity building in the East region. A couple of years ago there was, and in fact at the beginning of this year, there's been two reports called Map of Gaps, and the East region was highlighted as one of the least served areas in the country. So there's been a lot of focus on the lack of provision of services for women and girls that have experienced sexual violence.
And Sheila, this seems to be quite a pertinent week to have a meeting such as this with Baroness Stern's review. What the review is going to be about, what it aims to do, to start off with?
Well, it's linked to other national work really. So we had the Mayor, Boris, write a violence against women strategy probably last summer.
Yeah.
And then the Conservative Party released a violence against women strategy last December. And the government ran a consultation process nationally looking at rape and domestic violence over the last 3 or 4 months, with the aim of writing a violence against women strategy. So the rape review and the strategy and the work and the lobbying that women's organisations are doing around the treatment of rape victims is all tied in together really. So it's, as you said, it's quite pertinent that it's happening right now. So it's actually tied into the ultimate government violence against women strategy. So the government want to understand what's actually happening in women's lives and girls' lives when they report, how the police respond, how the system responds, and when they don't report, the reasons why. So that's what's being looked at. And I think that is slightly different than what's happened before. There is some focus on the victim. But I think we were talking earlier about, have we not done this before? And there was a document called Without Consent that was a police document. Oh God, 4 years? 2, 3 years?
2007.
Yeah, quite a few years ago. So in some ways it feels like we're rehashing that. And that document is excellent, the recommendations are excellent, but nothing's actually happened from it. So our concern is we might be running around this never-ending merry-go-round where we have another document that no one really acts on and nothing is moved any further.
What often happens is that there's been several documents in the last decade is that what comes out of it is recommendations, but there's no actual kind of emphasis on following through those recommendations. And we feel that there should be some sanctions attached to not following through those recommendations. So that's one of the issues we've got. The other is that this is not looking at girls between 16 and 18, so it's no under 18s. We think that this review is missing that. There's no emphasis on what happens to offenders, so our key issue and what Rape Crisis is focusing on, that because this is a criminal justice approach, then we know that women need support before and after a court case.
But is there any way this is going to be a blame game? You know, are the police to blame, etc.? Does that go on at all?
I don't know, I think it's not about blame game, it's about the police, if they are the main agency that women access when they want to report a rape, must do a certain set of things in a certain order, in a certain way. That's what they're told they should do, and they should be doing it. So it's not about blaming them and you haven't got it right. They know very clearly what they should be doing, and it's about assessing if this is happening, and if it's not happening, why not, and then adjusting so it does happen.
Maybe an issue you may not be able to comment on, but does the hoo-ha regarding rape and Jordan in the papers help?
I've got all about Jordan. That's complicated. I mean, I think when we, as women, when we looked at the coverage around Jordan and the fact that she doesn't want to say who it is, then it's our experience here that most women do not want to report, do not want to talk publicly in a court or anywhere else about who has actually assaulted them. So she's not out of step with that at all. The whole celebrity stuff around it, I think if you remember, I can't remember, was it, who was the other one? The other
Ulrika Johnson.
Yeah, before. The coverage she got, I mean, she got ripped to bits in the media when that one came out. So if Jordan's hesitant, then no wonder why. But it doesn't help, it doesn't detract, it's just part of the stuff that goes on about rape.
One of the issues that's come up for us is around the whole situation that Jordan's in is actually highlights the whole myths and realities about rape. So the emphasis on what her job is, what she looks like, the way she conducts herself, the whole emphasis is going to be about her behaviour and did she or did she not consent. So I think that the case highlights the myths that we often have to kind of think about, take on board and talk about with the general public on a daily basis.
Finally, you're based here in Thurrock. Do you feel sometimes you operate in a cocoon in Thurrock as Sericc? I mean, what's your action with other agencies within Thurrock itself?
That's a very good description, a cocoon. Yes, it does feel like that. As you know, Michael, when we've spoken before, our emphasis and our work is around sexual violence. But there is very little discussion, thought, policy making about sexual violence in Thurrock. It's very difficult to get it on the agenda. One thing that may change that, and I don't know if you want to talk about NI26, is a government initiative around what is called NI26, which is a national indicator. And I don't know if you want to say a bit about that.
Well, it's an indicator that's being piloted to test its robustness, and it's about how the police access or offer specialist services to victims. So it's currently a pilot, so what we'll do, Michael, when we finish the pilot, is invite you back to talk about it and talk about its findings.
One of the things that has happened in Thurrock is we do have a sexual violence delivery group, which is part of crime and disorder partnerships. And I think it's probably the only one or one of two in the whole country, so that's something quite positive about Thurrock. And there are individuals within various agencies who are very keen to push the issue, to raise the issue, so that happens as well. But it is difficult for us all, I think, and sexual violence is not a government target, therefore why should anyone do it? But the problem that we have is women prioritise the things that have happened in their life as needs, and one of those needs is going to be sexual violence either as a child or as an adult. Locally, those needs do not then get represented in the local area agreements because they're hidden needs. Women aren't running around telling everybody this is an issue. Therefore, the LAA does not prioritise that issue. When we try and prioritise sexual violence within the LAA, what tends to happen is the players there then look at the police statistics, which are low, not many women report, therefore they think it's not an issue. So we would have maybe 3 times more women disclosing to us than actually report to the police. So the whole thing is quite complicated, and we're at very early days in dealing with it. We're probably where domestic violence was as an issue 20 years ago.